the order, stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody getting mic'd up? Thank you.
Okay, Coley.
Okay, roll call of the council.
Danny Bell,
Here.
Russ Solomon,
Here.
Don Vogel,
Here.
Richard Mott,
Here.
Todd Rolls.
Here. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Next time up is a consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Bell,
Yes.
Solomon,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Mott,
Yes.
Rolfson.
Yes.
Next item up is public hearing amendment to the ordinance rezoning certain property for NRFW Investments LLC. We have a motion to open the public hearing.
So
So,
move.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Has there been any oral or written objections?
No.
Okay. Next item up is we'll open the floor for objections from the public. Hearing none, we'll ask for a motion to close the hearing.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Next item up, first reading of the amendment to the ordinance rezoning certain property.
So moved.
Hey, you make a motion.
Second.
Percent roll call.
Solomon,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Mott,
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
Next item is waiver of second and third reading amendment to the ordinance rezoning certain
I'd
property.
make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Solomon,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Mott.
Yes.
Next item is final adoption of ordinance amending code amendment to the ordinance rezoning certain property.
Move for final adoption.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Solomon,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Mott.
Yes.
Okay. Going down to citizens input.
It says it's in your left.
Just left.
I lost my citizens input.
No, they were here for the
They were here for
Permits.
legacy.
Oh,
legacies permit.
Yeah,
oh,
Okay.
they're the new owners.
didn't know that. Okay, so we'll jump down to public works, because there's nothing in 7 through 10. Next item up is engineering agreement for the lining project for the Northeast Quadrant.
Page 17.
And that's just a contract for McClure to develop the specifications, correct?
And the attorney has
I did.
viewed that.
And it's all good. Yep.
So,
I even had Mike double check the boxes. I had Mike commit to exactly what it was that they were doing, so he agreed, because it was one of those weird contracts where you check boxes for what their obligations were, and
Okay.
Is there a, I'm sorry, I looked at this, but is there a map or anything, or what are we doing here now?
this
a
is,
contract.
this is just to write the specifications of the lining, not for the actual project itself.
Is that correct?
Right, but it's not for the contract itself, because it's above a bidding, for a bid process.
I guess the northeast quadrant of town is what we're looking at.
Yeah, that hasn't been totally 100% decided yet, but we're working on it. Is that correct?
Well, like I said, is this about what we talked about? I mean, if I'm looking at $187,000 just for the engineer study?
No, $14,750.
So the other's an estimate of what it would be
Yes. To do the lining.
to do the line? Okay,
Yes.
that's why I wondered, I thought that, but I saw only the one
What is
item
that?
in there, okay.
Right, so it's an agreement for engineering
That's in the
services, not for the
agreement.
actual project yet.
Oh,
They
right,
put like
okay.
an engineer's estimate.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
alright.
that's
That's
what we're
what I
working
said,
on
alright.
because and when we get to that point, Mike, you'll go through some of the pitfalls we may run into, and the engineers have estimated some of that stuff high, and which we may not have to do.
And part
Right.
of their fee is the bidding and contract award for the project. That's checked in here, that's included as part of their service for this. Sorry, they're doing the bid letting part of it, they're included in their services is preparing the bid package and doing the
Okay.
bid letting
All
for
right.
the project.
Yeah, this is just for the $14,750 to write the specifications
All right,
for the lining and the contract, and then we'll look at the contract as a separate issue.
So move.
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Solomon,
yes,
Bell,
yes,
Ralston,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Mott.
yes,
Next item up was a resolution establishing a project fund for the Northeast Lining Project. And that, all we're doing is setting up a fund just like any other project funds.
So moved.
second,
So this like creates a line item in your budget, is that what you guys do?
Mhm.
I was gonna ask that, okay,
Yep.
so it creates creates another line for them to be able to see, this is how much we've moved into that project, so that they can see that on their budget and their consent agenda bills and stuff that they get.
Yep.
Got it.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Mott,
yes,
Bell,
yes,
Ralston,
Yes.
Solomon,
yes,
Vogel.
Yes.
Next item up is the resolution approving contract and bond for Sixth Street Curb and Gutter, Eastern Iowa Excavating for $131,324.36. And you'll see it, number D is a change order for that, decreasing it.
And I apologize, I wasn't here last time, but we were expecting 108 and it came in at 131.
Correct.
Yes.
Money's still good. Can
Mhm.
afford the change, for lack of better words.
It's
Yes.
close, we
Or
got,
do we have to have a payroll deduction program from Coley and Mike and?
yeah. Actually, the one, because we're taking, the whole project, we had 100,000 set aside.
Right.
But only, and I'm gonna use a round number, because we're using about approximately 12 to 15,000 for water out of that project, so it's down to 85. So if we add the 15 back in, we're getting from the water, it was only gonna be an extra 15, which was gonna be absorbed by the streets, but council decided they wanna see if they could go back and do some extra, so it got it they got it decreased by 8,000 on the change order, so it'll be about 123. You can do the math backwards from that point as well. So,
So first we have to approve the contract for the full amount, and then the change order reduces it down. Cause went through a bid letting, and that was what the bid came in at,
The one bid.
one bid.
The one bid, right.
Were you surprised by that, Mark?
A little bit, yeah, we had 3 bidders that, were playing with us, so we got one of us.
I
The
guess,
upside to that is your maintenance bond is at the 131 and not the reduced amount.
But they have the bond for the contract amount.
Right, they have to, right, so I'm just saying that you're actually gonna pay less than 131 for the project, but your maintenance bond is higher than the project.
now, I assume it'd be permissible before they act on the full contract at 131 to at least inquire about the decrease, so we understand, we don't go through and approve the 131 that don't like it, so.
Sure, I can speak So change order one would include modifying the actual curb and gutter. The plans that were bid included a 4-foot wide curb and gutter. And so what this change order does is reduce it back to a normal 2.5-foot curb and gutter unit. The reason it was bid at a 4-foot curb and gutter unit would allow us a little bit more flexibility in getting some of the drainage because of the flat grades that are in that area along Sixth Street. But we are gonna include, and we're still gonna have that 1-foot space in front of the curb and gutter unit that will allow us to adjust grade as well. And so just based off of the 1-foot asphalt area and the 2.5-foot curb and gutter, we should have enough flexibility to get the grades to work to get to the intakes. And so I'd recommend going to the 2.5. That will allow us to save a little money. We're also looking at making the patch in front of the curb and gutter, that asphalt piece right in front of the curb that I was talking about, making it a little thinner than the 6 inches thick and going to a 3-inch thick. And then the other 3 inches would be a granular material. And looking over the bid, they bid rather high on the asphalt patch. And you can see just by reducing it 3 inches, we saved $4,000. And so that, you know, I took the item that they put a lot of cost in, and it may be because of the sub that they had. The person supplying the asphalt and the contractor doing the asphalt work may have provided them with a fairly high bid. So to try to soften the blow on that expensive item, I looked at going to a 3-inch thick asphalt in front of the curb
Comfortable
gutter.
with that because there's not gonna be much traffic.
There's not gonna be
at
much
that particular
traffic, and then
point.
plus, in the long term, that's something that can be maintainable by the city too, as well. Instead of the curb and gutter, it's usually a lot more work to tear out a curb and gutter and put the concrete in. You can do some patching if it doesn't last as long as the curb and gutter unit.
3 inches is pretty thin though, I mean, compared to the rest of the street, isn't it?
Correct, yes, it is.
I mean, that's barely parking lot.
Yep, that's,
And,
so,
during
mhm.
harvest, we have a lot of farm traffic, tractors, trucks that park there.
Yep, and we're talking about a 1-foot patch in front of the curb and gutter unit, and it's in the curb and gutter as opposed to in the street. So, you know, that it is a cost savings item. I'm okay with going with the full 6 inches. It's up to the council to decide that, but I am comfortable with the way I've got the change order. But it was mainly an item that I thought could save you some money.
You know, one,
Because of the
and I
cost.
realize it's only 1 foot, but
Mhm.
I'm not a farmer, but those wagons they haul grain in.
Yep.
Hauls as much as close to a semi-load, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
I mean,
those
you're
are-
gonna have a lot of weight on that tire that's gonna ride on that thing. And that would cause a groove rather rapidly, wouldn't it?
it's
It will break it apart.
yeah.
It will break it apart. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even though it's only a foot, it's still gonna break it.
What you're saying is because of the width, that's questionable whether that will happen or not. Is that what you're saying?
Right. The parts where it would,
Because of where
where
it's
they
at.
cross. So, you know, the point is, well, taking that, the part in front of the co-op is where you're gonna have the crossing of that 1-foot patch area. And so in that localized area, you could thicken it back to where we had in the plan, and then the rest, you could keep it at the 3-inch. And so in the other area, you're not gonna have any traffic on that 1-foot patch.
You know, they park up and down there, don't they, Denny? I mean, I've been down there,
Yeah, not,
Not so much anymore.
not
so much anymore.
not so much, and they dump so much faster and that they don't get near the fall traffic they used to get. I mean, they still get some.
yeah, it just concerned me, even though it's a foot,
Now I understand what you're saying.
that's,
Yeah,
because if it's right in front of the curb, if it starts getting a little dip in it, then we lose our drainage.
Yeah. So the other thing, right, and then the other thing that I would suggest is if at that location where they go on over the scale, is that we keep it at that full depth and do that area. Now, the asphalt is a plan, it's a, it's a measured quantity, so we get tickets as far as the tonnage that they bring in, and it's paid as per ton. And so it's, I have a quantity, and I'm trying to keep track and limit the amount of asphalt that they bring in, and the amount that they remove in front of the curb and gutter. And so it's, there's a little bit of flexibility in how much quantity they put in, how much width we go with. So they could, you know, maybe get by with, you know, 9 inches as opposed to a full foot as well. Because it's an expensive item. I'll grant it, just for a foot of patching, you're dealing with about $8,000.
Mike?
I guess, like you said, I mean, this is definitely a council decision. I completely understand what you guys are saying. But
Be a politician.
Yeah.
This is,
We're trying to cut
Yeah.
costs, but you're increasing the cost.
Okay, so, and
I know it's a decision, I know it's a council decision, I'm asking for your thoughts.
I'd love to see it pulled up. But, yeah, we're raising the price back up again, so.
okay, so how much of this,
Mhm.
how much of the change order was the asphalt part of it? Or was none of that?
About 50%.
4,400.
So then so then we'd have about $4,000 worth of change order instead of 8.
Right. So you're dealing with 4,400. Again, it's one of those things, you know, and plus, you know, it's not an exact science here we're dealing with on this asphalt. Like I said, it's a measured quantity that the contractor is going to be using, what he needs to build the job, and he's going to be directed to place that asphalt based on how much he removes in front of the curb and gutter, and then how much thickness is he going to have in front of it. And so, you know, we have some flexibility on the removal limits. You know, we can say, hey, let's not go the full foot. Let's look at 9 inches. And then, you know, maybe he can make it a little cleaner. Maybe he doesn't need to form up in some areas where the pavement is pretty good on 6th Street, and he can use the street as a form instead of using a form and over removal. So,
They planning to talk at that, aren't they?
yes.
Should,
Yeah, I mean, if you
For
look at it, there's some
generally as a
potholes
rule,
out there.
yeah.
So, I mean, in some locations, they could probably get by with a clean saw cut and be able to form up against it. Now, in some locations, I don't think you're gonna have that option. But
Now, what's council think about the 3 versus a 6?
I'd rather have the 6, I'll be honest with you.
You and Mike wanna go back to 6, it's very apparent.
yeah, I mean, obviously, but I understand the sensitivity of that. You're trying to, you know, identify some cost savings, and these are the options that I'm bringing back. We bid it like we thought it should be built, right?
Cost savings today, but if you go to 3 inches, it could cost us more
That's right,
3
They
years
do it.
from now.
that's right. And we may have to fix it ourselves.
Mhm.
That's where that payroll deduction program comes in for Mike. That's right.
Denny, you, what are your
Well,
thoughts?
I'll go back to my original concerns when we only had one bid, and I'll state that for the record, that it bothers me when we only had one bid. I'm kinda thinking that probably the $4,400 is probably money that's pretty well spent. Alright, if we're gonna spend the 4,400, do we go spend the other 4,000, do it the way it was originally planned, and go back to square one? I'm completely reversing where I was last meeting, but
Yeah,
with new information, I'm not so sure, maybe that's not what we should do.
but I was concerned when you know, the going from the 4 foot to the 2 foot, if you could have done that, if you could do it today, why couldn't have we done it back then?
Yeah, I mean, I tried to explain here is that I was wanting a little bit more control with the grade.
No, I understand that, but I mean, if you could control it now with 2,
2.5, yeah.
why did we go 4?
It's again, I mean, the 4, so what the 4 foot does for you, okay, it also takes away some of that additional, it gives you just a little bit better, more pavement into the street. I mean, it's,
Yeah, but we still had that asphalt in front of that again.
yep, because you have to form up the you have to form up the curb and gutter. So, yes, and to save cost, let's look at narrowing that up as much as possible. 2.5 foot is the standard curb width, and so that's what we're going with instead of the wide curb width that we had to begin with.
Is it gonna be with a narrower curb width, is it going to have dips and things in it where water will sit?
No, that's, yes, they're to construct that to drain to the intakes.
With all that in mind, has anybody got any other questions over the change order? We can get into that. But right now, the resolution is approving the contract for the full amount for 131,324.36, and then have a change order that we can discuss after that.
Yeah.
So moved.
I second that.
Roll call?
Solomon,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Mott.
Yes.
Okay, now we'll go into the change order, the ugly part. We got two options, 8133.75 or back to the minus the 4,000 and some change, whatever that number was.
Yeah, so,
What's-
okay, so one of the things too is that the main thing is that we are proceeding with the project. And so, you know, it's the change order, since we have approved the contract, we have a little bit more flexibility in dealing with the contractor. He's wanting to get in here and do the work. He has contacted us and is asking to do a pre-construction conference. And one of the dates he's looking at is Tuesday of next week.
I thought it was tomorrow or Thursday.
It was, and we pushed that back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so we're now looking at Tuesday of next week.
Okay, well,
So,
you said
well-
flexibility with the contractor.
Yes.
So that indicates to me there's some more movement we're gonna
yeah,
see or not?
We can discuss the project with him. We can look at the change order in some more detail. He would be able to give us a little more feedback. He'll probably look at the project a little bit more. There might be some things when he's actually in constructing it, he can find some cost savings then. You know, so the reason the change order has been produced like this is so that we can proceed with the
Okay, well,
contract
we
identifying.
got all that, I think everybody's got all that, now it's just a matter of whether we wanna do the 8,000, do no change order,
Mhm.
or reduce it by that 4,200 and change, whatever it was, what was it?
44.
4,400.
So it's $4,400 off the 8,000,
So they could table the change order now, you could have your conference and you could come back and report to them
Yep,
what
this is
he
what we
says
can
if they table the change order.
Button up the change order, we can take out the HMA and provide you with a brand new change order number 1, and you can approve it then.
but that wouldn't come about till August, does he wanna get in here sooner?
It'd be the first Tuesday in August, August 6th. Okay.
Let's just make a decision.
I mean, the whole thing is, if we, whatever way we choose to do it tonight, there's always room to
Exactly.
maneuver later.
Yep.
Danny, which way would you prefer?
And this way, we're locked into a do not exceed figure anyway.
Well, at the risk of being the one that's gets pointed at for delaying this for 2 weeks, I'm ready to go back to where we originally started, I think, if we're gonna
Second.
give up.
It reflects 6%.
That's a motion,
Yeah, I guess
six
so.
percent of
I-
the
Second.
entire
Wait.
contract.
6% of
saving
the entire
4
contract.
grand, we just as well do it right.
Yeah.
At
It
that
represents
point,
6% of the entire contract,
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but $8,000
Yeah.
on $131,000.
I'll make that a motion,
We had a second,
live or die, I don't care.
Todd seconded it.
Todd seconded,
To,
go to the 131,
And not do a change
not do a
order
Not do
change
change
order.
order.
at all.
So
Leave it
the-
originally as bid.
so the motion is to,
Cancel the change order.
okay.
So, discussion,
Beat this to death.
and then some,
I think
cold
we-
learning experience. Roll call?
Vogel,
Yes.
Mott,
Yes,
Solomon,
Yes,
Bell,
Yes.
Rolfs.
Yes. Thanks for looking out
On the
for it, Mark.
upside, you make the engineer work, which does nothing but warm my heart. I will tell you that, I just love it when the engineers have to go back and then they come back and then they change something that's really fun to watch.
Next
Well, we
item,
tried. Nothing else, we tried.
next item up, sewer extension, Emerald Acres. Is that Limerick Drive? Is that-
Yes. Yes.
Just say yes.
Yes.
I think so.
Okay, in front of Bob and Ellen Frotsky,
Yes.
the sewer did not get extended to the right length back when the subdivision was done. And now for us to extend it, it's gotta be extended to meet up with West Echo. Is it West Echo? I don't even
Yes.
get too many names.
Yes.
So move.
And
I believe that was AECom's fault.
one of, and
Sorry, that was a joke.
You thought you were off the hook for a minute, didn't you?
one of the things in the $16,250, Mike and I talked about it, and I'll let him give his opinion too, but we're having to take out part of the road, and $6,000 for the concrete, somewhere in that neighborhood, and I talked to Mike, I said, I just said leave it and rock for at least a year to give that, because if we're gonna dig down there 14 foot, that's a lot of packing, and I don't wanna replace it twice, but floor's yours, Mike.
Correct. So the original plan called for the sewer to be extended all the way to the end of the street and actually past a little bit. So the whole West Echo plans and everything account for digging up the end of the street to put in a manhole so they can connect their sewer system. Well, the plan, the sewer's not there. It wasn't installed to that length that it was supposed to be. So this is a price to tear up that, dig up that area, and actually extend the sewer main out to where it's supposed to be so West Echo can tie into it.
Yeah, but we don't put the manhole in, do we?
No,
No, that'll be
no,
there.
that's still on them. We just are making sure that the sewer main is in the actual location that it is.
How much is gonna be gravel?
we're just making sure we got it in the right place so they can hook up to it.
Correct. Your question is gonna be close to 50 feet of it's gonna be gravel. Worst case scenario, half the street and 60 foot of length from the end of it would be gravel. So it's a rather lengthy section.
Pretty close to the length of Bob and Eller's lot going east and west. Wouldn't it?
So, I'm trying to think, there's a driveway on the south side there, it's not that far, we're not gonna disrupt the.
Yeah, it won't affect, it's probably about the middle of their house
Yes,
and
or towards like
west.
the front door and west further would be gravel. Mainly, like you said, the depth of it's the problem, like getting all that packed in there, we really want, if we go and pour that all concrete right away, there's a good chance that's all gonna settle and not look very nice. in the
So
long
to
run.
get to driveways, they'll still be on concrete, or they gotta go to gravel to get to?
No,
the
they'll be
on
on,
concrete.
they'll still be on their concrete.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Whose responsibility was it that it didn't get done completely the first time?
That's a good question.
We approved it, the city approved it.
The way it was done?
Right.
Yeah, but that's what, the way the prints were drawn up.
Yes.
The prints were drawn up showing it out further.
I
But-
guess it was buried
Yes.
before and no one ever saw that it didn't extend out as far as it should have.
Let's
So
hope we
once
get
the
Roger
s-
to pay for it. but-
So once the subdivision is done, then the city accepts it.
Then it's our responsibility.
What are you talking about? I'll be right behind you.
Yeah. But anyway, and I don't know, if we'd have to, I don't think, Jessup Land is going to hold that $6,000 paving price for a year, would they? And that's what I say, so we're looking about roughly $11,000 this year, and then have it, rebid a year from now, a year and a half from now. But that money, if it went up $1,500, would be well spent rather than having to tear it up because it's settled and redo it 2 2 years later.
I'll amend my motion to do the dollar amount less than $6,000.
Less the paving.
Right.
And they can get it done within 60 days,
That was the discussion.
cause we didn't wanna be the ones West Echo pointed at and says, we're ready and you don't have your sewer there. Even though I think we could be paving it before they get their equipment in there, I don't know. But we have a motion, do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Yes.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Bell,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Mott,
Yes,
Vogel,
Yes.
Solomon.
Yes.
Yes. We're on to updates. Do we have anything from UNI or Heartland Technology?
They have, a video done, but it doesn't have some of the current changes, or doesn't have some of the current changes in it, as far as grocery store situation and whatnot, so. With everything that's happening here in the next period of time, I'll just sit tight for a period. There'll be more to come later.
Okay. Next item up is first reading of an ordinance amending chapter 5.09. And that was brought about by our last
Foray into chapter 372.15.
yeah.
I make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Rolfson,
Yes.
Solomon,
Yes.
Mott,
yes,
Vogel,
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
Next item is possible waiver of second and third reading of an ordinance amending chapter 5.09.
I'll
so
make it.
moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Vogel,
Yes.
Rolfson,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Solomon,
Yes.
Mott.
Yes,
Move for
Next
final
item.
adoption.
Pardon?
Move for final adoption.
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Solomon,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Rolfson, Mott,
yes,
Bell.
Yes.
Motion passed. And now we're up to 14, which is adjournment.
So move.
second,
Roll call? Or no, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes, we are adjourned.